The true crime drama is really the new blockbuster, isn't it? Every time one of these big series drops, Dahmer, the Menendez brothers, boom, right to the top of the charts.
Absolutely. And now everyone's watching this take on Ed Gein.
Yeah, the man whose crimes, well, they basically inspired decades of horror movies. It's gripping stuff.
It really is. But, we need to be careful here. The second these real figures become characters shaped by, like, dramatic needs.
The line just blurs, right, between the awful documented facts and the stuff added for entertainment.
Exactly. It gets completely lost sometimes.
So that's really our mission for this deep dive. We're putting the TV drama under the microscope for you. We're going to try and pull apart the documented real-life facts about Ed Gein's crimes from all the inventions and exaggerations.
And we're using good sources for this. Past reporting, archives.
Right, and key books like The Ed Gein File, A Psycho's Confession and Case Documents, and also Ed Gein. Psycho. Solid stuff.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where does the truth end and Hollywood begin?
Okay, first, got to talk about the man himself. Ed Gein, born 1906, isolated farmer, Plainfield, Wisconsin.
And that upbringing, extremely strict, religious mother, Augusta, very controlling.
Yeah, that whole repressive background, it's like the foundation for everything that follows.
It definitely sets a psychological stage.
Yeah.
But it also helps us spot the first big factual twist in the show right away.
Which is?
The scale of his murders.
Yeah.
The show kind of makes it feel like this long, sprawling killing spree.
Right, you get that impression. But the actual case files, the confessions, what's the real number?
Gein only confessed to killing 2 women, just 2.
Wow. Okay, who were they?
Mary Hogan, she was a 54-year-old tavern owner back in 1954. And then Bernice Warden, 58, owned the hardware store. That was 1957.
So just 2 murders, but
Wow.
his house, the stories are legendary. It was filled with human remains, right? The bowls, the skin lampshades.
It absolutely was. And that's the key thing the show kind of glosses over or merges together.
Where did all that material come from then?
Grave robbing. The body parts found in the house, and investigators checked. This came from about 9 or 10 other women.
9 or 10.
Yeah, women he dug up from local cemeteries. He was a grave robber, first and foremost, exhuming bodies, making things from them. That was his primary obsession.
So the investigators actually confirmed this. Check the graves.
They did. They found the disturbed sites he told them about. It verifies his account.
Okay, so that completely changes the picture. It wasn't really about being a serial killer in the way we think of it now.
Not primarily, no. It was desecration and this really bizarre crafting impulse with human remains.
Let's talk about Bernice Warden then.
Yeah.
Her disappearance is what led to his arrest. The show makes a big deal about a relationship between them, maybe even romantic or sexual.
And that's just pure Hollywood invention for drama.
Really? Nothing there.
Well, Gein did say he wanted to possess her, but the reason? Because she looked like his dead mother.
Oh, wow. Classic Freudian horror right there.
Textbook. But any idea of romance or sex, that's fiction. If you look at the Ed Gein file, he told doctors repeatedly he'd never had a sexual experience. Ever.
So the motive was possession replacement, not love or lust.
Exactly. Tied entirely to his mother fixation.
And how they caught him. The show invents this whole thing with a gift tag, right, to Eddie.
Yeah, another dramatic flourish. Makes for a better clue, I guess.
But the reality was much more mundane.
Much more. He left a receipt for antifreeze on the counter at Warden's hardware store.
Antifreeze.
Yep. The last thing she sold, that simple slip of paper, pointed the police right to his farm. Less cinematic, but that's how it happened.
Okay, so the lead-up is heavily fictionalized, but the discovery at the farm, the descriptions of finding Warden's body, that was pretty accurate, wasn't it?
Sadly, yes. The descriptions of her body, decapitated and mutilated in his shed, they closely matched the actual crime scene photos. The horror there was real.
So the show gets the grisly discovery right, but fumbles the lead-up and motive. What about his family? The show opens with his brother Henry's death.
Ah, yes, another area where the narrative takes huge leaps, that dramatic opening scene.
Where Gein hits Henry with wood, drags him, stages a brush fire in winter.
Okay, so first off,
Yeah.
the real fire. It was in the spring, not winter.
Right.
And Henry's official cause of death was listed as asphyxiation leading to heart failure. Related to the fire, yes, but
But not blunt force trauma from Ed.
no evidence of that was noted at the time. Officials ruled out foul play back then. Gein never confessed to it either.
Though suspicion did arise later, didn't it? Given everything else.
Oh, absolutely. Hindsight cast a very dark shadow on Henry's death, especially since it left Ed alone with Augusta. but factually at the time, it wasn't ruled a murder.
Okay. Then there's this character, Adeline Watkins. The show presents her as, like, a long-term girlfriend, maybe even an accomplice, someone who knew what he was doing.
Complete fabrication. Adeline Watkins is basically a composite, or maybe just an invention, to give Gein someone to talk to on screen.
So who was the real Adeline Watkins?
She was a real person, but just an acquaintance. They knew each other intermittently, maybe over about 7 months total. Not a long-term romance.
Did she know about his activities?
She strongly denied it. Insisted she'd never even been inside his house.
So what was their connection then? Why her?
Apparently they shared an interest in reading. Yeah. Including, oddly enough, geography magazines.
Geography magazines.
Yeah, where Gein supposedly read about tribal cultural practices. Things like headhunting or using body parts in rituals.
Okay, that's weirdly specific. Does that connect to the whole Nazi thing the show brings in? Ilse Koch.
Ah, the Ilse Koch connection. That feels really forced, doesn't it?
Extremely. Like they just latched on to the lampshade thing.
Pretty much. Both Koch and Gein were associated with making items from human skin. So the show has Watkins introduce Gein to Koch's story.
And then later, there's that bizarre scene with them talking on the radio in prison.
Which turns out to be a schizophrenic break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the reality is, well, Gein might have read about Koch somewhere.
There's zero proof he modeled himself on her. Or that Watkins told him about her.
None whatsoever. It's the show trying to weave Gein into this larger tapestry of infamous evil figures. Make him seem bigger, maybe. More connected to history's monsters.
It really feels like the show is less about Ed Gein the person and more about Ed Gein the idea, the sort of founding father of modern horror tropes.
Exactly. And that's where it starts borrowing heavily from the movies he inspired and sticking those elements back onto his life story. Very meta.
Which brings us to that wild finale episode.
Oh boy. Yeah, the fictional overload there is significant.
You mean the bit where FBI agents who look exactly like the guys from Mindhunter show up?
Visiting Gein in the institution.
Using his twisted insights to help catch Ted Bundy, suggesting Gein is the wellspring for all serial killers.
Right. And just to be crystal clear for everyone listening, none of that happened.
Seriously. Not even close.
Not even remotely. Bundy was caught because he fled a patrol car. Gein's psychology wasn't some key that unlocked other cases. That's pure fan fiction for the true crime genre.
It's like creating a shared universe, a true crime cinematic universe.
That's a good way to put it. It says more about our current obsession with these figures than it does about Gein himself.
And then there's the chainsaw.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The show has him using a chainsaw to kill those 2 hunters who went missing, Victor Travis and Raymond Burgess.
Which felt very Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Because it is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Gein used knives in his actual confirmed crimes. The chainsaw was invented for the movie.
So putting a chainsaw in Gein's hands is just borrowing horror movie iconography.
Precisely. It's shorthand for scary rural killer, but it's factually wrong for Gein. And also, there's no actual evidence he killed those 2 hunters either. That remains speculation.
Okay, what about the Psycho reference? The scene with Hitchcock and Anthony Perkins.
Where Hitchcock tells Perkins he has to play Norman Bates because Perkins is like him, meaning like Gein because of some secret.
Yeah, that felt loaded.
It is, but probably not in the way the show implies. While Psycho drew heavily from Gein's story, especially the mother issues.
The secret wasn't about murder.
Almost certainly not. It was likely a veiled reference to Anthony Perkins being a closeted gay man at a time when that was incredibly risky and scandalous.
Yeah.
Not about him having killer instincts.
Wow, so they twisted that too. But the role did define Perkins' career, didn't it?
Tragically, yes. Norman Bates overshadowed everything else he did.
Okay, let's quickly bust a few other myths the show kind of plays with. Cannibalism. Did he feed people human flesh disguised as venison?
Nope. Gein himself denied eating human flesh, and there's zero evidence he ever distributed it to anyone. That's pure local legend and, frankly, sensationalism.
Got it. Necrophilia. Sex with the corpses.
He denied that too, repeatedly. Said the smell put him off. Again, the show implies something different, but the records say no.
And the idea he killed a nurse while locked up, the show has that schizophrenic episode.
Total invention. Gein was actually considered a model patient during his decades of confinement. He wasn't violent towards the staff.
Okay, so if we strip away all the fiction, the fake romance, the brothers' murder, the FBI, the chainsaws, the cannibalism myths, what's left? What are the undeniable, horrifying truths about Gein that didn't need exaggeration?
Well, the confirmed facts are plenty disturbing on their own. They speak to a very unique pathology.
Like what?
He definitely confessed to wearing human skin and body parts. He said it was driven by a desire to become more like a woman, more like his mother.
Oh, okay.
And he absolutely made objects from human remains. We're talking a bowl from a skull, a corset made from a female torso, lampshades from skin, masks made from faces. These were found, documented.
And the detail, it always comes up. The box.
Yes, he did have vulvas in a box. That specific grotesque detail found in the house tells you so much about the real nature of his fetishism. It wasn't primarily sexual, it was anatomical, collecting, crafting. Far stranger than just murder.
So what happened to him in the end, legally, after the arrest in 57?
Well, first he was found unfit to stand trial, mentally incompetent.
But eventually he was tried.
Yes, much later. In 1968, he was found guilty of Bernice Worden's murder. But then, in a second phase of the trial, immediately after.
Found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Exactly. So, guilty, but legally insane. He was never actually tried for Mary Hogan's murder or any of the grave robbing he confessed to.
And he spent the rest of his life institutionalized.
He did. Died in 1984, age 77, respiratory failure, linked to lung cancer, lived out his days in a mental health facility.
Even the aftermath was weird, wasn't it, with his stuff being auctioned?
Oh, yeah. The public fascination was immediate. His belongings were auctioned off, including his 1949 Ford sedan.
The car he used when Warden was killed.
That's the one. Someone bought it for $760 and actually put it on display, charged admission to see it, like a carnival sideshow.
Seriously?
Yeah, till it eventually got banned from exhibition. But it shows that morbid curiosity has been around for a long time.
So, connecting this all together, it really feels like this series, and maybe others like it, are less about the actual facts of Ed Gein.
And much more about the mythology he spawned in Hollywood.
Right.
His real crimes, few murders, but lots of grave robbing, and that grotesque crafting. They were uniquely horrifying.
But the things that stick in pop culture now, often totally made up just to link him to other killers or famous horror movie tropes?
It raises that interesting question, doesn't it? Especially when you think about that scene in the show where the fictional nurse tells Gein he should write his own book because everyone else is messing with his story.
Yeah.
When a true story gets this sensationalized, when Hollywood fiction completely buries the facts, does the drama just become more important than the history? Does accuracy even matter anymore to audiences?
And what's the responsibility of the people making these shows? When the fictional version becomes the accepted reality for millions of viewers, it defines the person more than the truth ever did.
Yeah. Something to think about next time one of these big true crime shows hits #1.